it's a great occasion and a very important program that is being organized today. We listened to Dr. Salim. He put up a very important statistics, alarming statistics before us. And I think in some or the other context, we all observe whatever case studies that he has put on. We all observe whether in our society, in our neighborhood, or in our relations. It's very true, no doubt about it, whatever you said. And definitely, why there has been a need to observe this elderly abuse day. So definitely something must be wrong somewhere, globally, nationally, and of course at our UT level. So I think it's a preliminary type of a program in any higher educational institution. Of course, University of Kashmir has number of affiliated colleges. In your collaboration, we'll definitely see how this mission can be, roped in other institutions of higher education or even at the school level, because as Professor Masoodi said, still our society is not that bad. The values of our children are not that bad, but I think we have to get them back on the track, introspect into various issues. Is the technology responsible for deviating them, bringing changes in their personality? Something must have gone wrong somewhere. I remember, when my parents were alive, all my brothers and sisters, we had great respect for them. I often used to leave university at 4:30. I used to make it a point when my mother was alive to sit with her for some time, and the type of joy that she would get when I used to reach, and spend some time with her, listen to her. So small gestures matter, which we have to, inculcate in our youth. At the back, this message is specifically for, the audience, which is at the back. Of course, the figures which were put up by Dr. Salim, that most of the elderly are being taken care by daughters. So what's the reason why daughters take, more care? I think all this research Dr. Shazia and social work has to take up and see how further we can take up the research in different parameters. And, I think what is needed is having these types of awareness lectures. अगर कहीं पे हमारे बच्चों को कोई चीज़ भूल गई है, हम उस चीज़ को फिर से उनके दिमाग में डाल के, I think these things will make change. And I'm happy, our old colleagues are here. I had asked Dr. Zari specifically, let's have a session on geriatric nutrition. That's why we have called Dr. Imtiaz Ali, because geriatric nutrition is also important. Mental health is also important. How to keep yourself busy is also important. I was yesterday having a tour of our Naseem Bagh campus, and I shared my view with Dr. Nisar. I said, we have our teachers club, it has a big hall. Let it also be available to our alumni whenever they want it. But I think we as alumni, retired teachers of the university, we also need to be active in the sense that let's have teaching, non-teaching, we can have both together. Let's have a club. If we have to contribute something after 6 months or yearly, we should contribute and try to have some activities. We can have any sports activity. We can have a small hours cricket match. We can have 5 आवर्स का रखे, 6 का रखे, 7 का, नो इट हेल्प्स. एक तो आपका जो मेंटल हेल्थ है थोड़ा ठीक हो जाता. आप हम अपने कुलीग्स के साथ मिलते हैं, बात बैठ के बात करेंगे. इट रियली हैव समटाइम्स विद एल्डरली इट्स ऑल्सो देयर कि कोई कंपनी नहीं होती है बात करने के लिए. सो आई थिंक ऑल दीज मेजर्स विल हेल्प. आई विल डेफिनेटली लुक बैक. मैं डॉक्टर अकबर खुरू साहब को फ़ोन करूँगी, वो थोड़े से एक्टिव हैं, तो लेट मी टेल हिम कि कुछ ऐसा हम करते हैं. लेट्स हैव सम स्पोर्ट्स एक्टिविटी. वी कैन हैव कोई म्यूजिकल नाइट. वी कैन हैव यूनिवर्सिटी को भी अगर कुछ करना हो, आई एम रेडी टू डू इट. हाँ जी, यस, पोइटिक सिंपोजियम्स. वो मसूदी साहब को मैंने कहा ये आपने लिखी है, किसने लिखी है? ही सेड कि मैंने नहीं लिखी है. वेरी important in that poem, if we go deep into that wordings which he said, I think it carries everything for all of us. Everything is over there which we have to introspect, and we are very grateful to Gauri Foundation. My regards to Dr. Upinder Kaul ji, for thinking of it. This thought matters a lot, and always the university is there ready to collaborate in any this type of a program. I think this is the first type of a program which the university has done, and let's carry it as a mission, and whatever university has to do, we'll definitely do it. I'll also ask Dr. Shazia to frame a small project, and let's introspect what's wrong where, although the observations are there. Perhaps itni one is ki पहले जॉइंट फैमिलीज होती थी, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी शेयर करते थे. देन समवेयर ओनली 2 चिल्ड्रन, समवेयर ओनली 1 चिल्ड्रन. तो बच्चों पे भी शायद बर्डन बन गया. दे आर नॉट एबल टू गिव टाइम टू देयर पेरेंट्स. देन bifurcation of joint family into nuclear family, that's again response. So many social strata that has taken place is important and is responsible. But at the same time, what Dr. Dr. Salim said, whatever their center is doing, of course many rehabilitation centers are coming up. I was just watching a video from Jammu. They have some elderly home over there, how much care they are taking. I think even in Srinagar, I am not aware कि कहीं पे है कोई ऐसा elderly centers जिन लोगों को बिल्कुल कोई caring नहीं है. I think we as conscious citizens, conscious members of the society, we should think of that also, and anywhere where we can advocate for this, I think we should definitely do it. But these types of programs are very helpful. I have said earlier also that after my retirement, 3 months I really enjoyed, and those 3 months were my own time, how I spent it, and I spent it very nicely. थोड़ी मैंने traveling कर दी. तो हमें भी ये देखना है. We have to keep ourselves very busy, and sometimes give space to our children also. That's very important. Too much expectations are also bad. Even they need their space, but at the same time we should not deviate from our values which our parents have taught us. I think those values should go down the line, and I'm sure I have full confidence on my youth, boys and girls, that type of mindset is still over there, and they can come up to this expectation. And in family, let's start it. Of course, it has to start from the family first, and then it has to be advocated.
So in Kashmir, now during these years, there is a study of 26,373 patients. So we saw these 2 patients to 2 different settings. One was in JLNM hospital, where we saw the patients who were marginalized, who were financially dependent on their caretakers, especially their sons. And the other setting was the patients that I saw in Chanapura, Ahatevaka. The patients were all retired people, or they were financially independent. They were having some business or something. So the total, the study saw 26,237. So besides various ailments that we documented, like cardiovascular disease, pulmonary disease, urology, there was a very one important and drastic thing that I noticed was psychiatric and sleep disorders in these senior citizens. So since the gathering is more about the social cause, so I'll focus on the serial number 7, elder abuse. And if you can see elder abuse, it's 43% in Ahatevakar, and at JLNM hospital it's 52.3%. It means that around 50% of the patients that I saw said that they face elder abuse in one form or the another. It's not a joke. It means 1 out of 2. And I think this estimate is conservative, because when I see a patient, I don't think everybody will say that no, I am not being given proper care by my children. So this estimate is conservative, and the people, after much efforts, they ultimately open up and say their plight. So again, in the COVID times, we did a small study. Since I was only a geriatrician in the hospital, so I was made in charge of ICU for older people. So in the second wave, it's a small case study of 98 patients. And by virtue that we had to go for contact tracing, we had to take their telephone numbers, addresses. So the people, all these elderly people who were admitted there, the attendants with them were married daughters in around 50%, married sons only 13%, unmarried daughters 6%, unmarried sons 27%, and others 5%. So let's keep this slide in mind. This is very important, and it tells a lot about our society, where we are actually heading towards. So the genesis of Gauri Coalition. What happened that though other branches of the medicine are taking care somehow of let's say gastroenterology, endocrinology, but this issue of elder abuse, I thought that it needs to be addressed. So the genesis of Gauri old age mission was sparked by the alarming prevalence of elder abuse, with a staggering number of elderly individuals falling victim to such mistreatment. This deeply concerning issue served as a driving force behind the establishment of the mission, emphasizing the urgent need to protect the support well-being of our elderly population. So what is the meaning of elder abuse? It simply refers to any intentional or negligent act that causes physical harm or mental distress to an older adult. It can take various forms, including physical, emotional, financial, as well as neglect or abandonment. So in Kashmir, while talking to the people, while talking to my patients, the most common form of abuse is psychological or emotional. It is the willful infliction of mental or emotional anguish or pain through either verbal or non-verbal acts, especially by the children. That includes threats and intimidation, isolation, verbal abuse, deprivation of basic needs of affection, and abandonment. So, to make it more understandable, what does this mean? I have a bean story from Sanwar. This patient came to me with the chief complaint, and I would like to say it in proper language that he told me. I told him, "Kya problem?" He told me, beans. This was his chief complaint. But he was very much anguished, he was very much irritated. So after digging, he said that his wife had died some years ago, and he was in a confusion that he owns the house, he is in the house, and he was in a confusion that is he living with his son or his son is living with me. I told him, what does this mean? I don't understand. So he said that for last 3 days, my son and my daughter-in-law, they have been taking good meals. I told you, Quran chain hamitra man hamdiman. Doel ti shamaste. Bo shu saki zan hun, it can hun is palliatus pet sitrama kamrasmas. Khas kare yad karte musa zanan gujre tan pet hosi temis hun simpet. Malab these are literally the chief complaints and present illness. So you should understand that what we see. Now he wants to talk to someone. So this kind of abuse is called as psychological abuse. And this is very much prevalent, very much prevalent. Now he came to me, but others maybe don't come. So how do we understand what happens, what happens to us to me as a geriatrician especially. We go for different investigations, we investigate them, there is nothing. They say we have some vague pain, we don't sleep during the nights. But when we dig, these are the manifestations of the abuse that actually happens to them at their homes. So what happens to them? They have deranged diabetes, they have deranged hypertension, despite giving them the appropriate dosage of the medicine, despite they're taking care of their the medicine, they have deranged. So their psychological abuse, their psychological baggage actually impacts on their physical health. So they have unexplained significant weight fluctuation. Some come with weight gain, some come with weight loss. Stress-related conditions. They are so much agitated and unexplained, as I said. So they come with disrupted sleep. We treat them, giving them Alprax or whatever, but we don't go into the actual cause. So they come with depression. And what I have seen many patients, sometimes they come with their sons. In front of their sons, they don't even speak anything. They don't even say what is their problem. They really shake in front of them. And at certain point of time, I used to say to their attendants, never. And then they start saying, they say that if I will tell you that I am giving mistreatment at my home, they will kill me. Because I say, this is the story of Kashmir, and this is the story of 26,000 patients. This is not a story of 26 patients. 26,000 is not a joke. And this is not only in Srinagar. These patients come from Kupwara, these patients come from Badgam, these patients come from Pulwama, these patients even come from Anantnag district. So the other exploitation is financial or material exploitation. This is the act, the process where an individual illegally or improperly uses an older person's resources, including property, funds, and other assets. So in our books that I have studied, it's about Western, insurance and hospices, what happens in the hospices, what happens in the old age homes. So leaving that behind, we'll come to the Kashmir. She has lost her husband during floods. She has 3 sons, two normal and 1 special son who is besides her right now, who brings her to me in JLNM hospital. ये पागल बच्चा मुझे अपनी माँ को मेरे साथ इलाज करवाता है. And what did these 2 normal sons do? She got them married in some 2016, and after that they were pursuing the business of their father. So these are the words that she told me, that I said assume business बढ़ाऊं, इस करो मकान. This is the financial exploitation. इस करो मकान, loan pardon makan town girvi type, because it was on the name of the mother. So this is a very something that everybody should understand and realize what I am saying. The property was on the name of mother, and they went to her with a sheet, and a sheet you can girvi, give the signature or thumb impression, whatever. So she said that so one of these were the actions. This is how emotionally children act on their parents. Then what a mother, she said that how could I then thought that they will not be that fair enough in the future. And then what happens in 2 months? They sell this house, and they build their own houses, and with their nuclear families go there and abandon them. And right now they are in a rented, there is Awqaf building. She, her unmarried daughter, and this challenged son. They are and on the zakat of people. So this is the financial exploitation. The other case was, I had a very, very beautiful patient in Rajbagh, a very good patient. So he was in fact my first patient, and he told me, he in fact inspired me to stay back by saying me, I know that nobody is like geriatrics here, and if you have some problem, you don't have professors, but I am your experimental body, experiment everything on me, and be a good geriatrician. So I was with him till he expired in COVID. So another kind of exploitation was his caregiver. So he used to give him the check for his salary. तो 14,000 की चेक थी. तो अब उसको उसने कहा कि it was trust. So this is again that everybody should listen properly. It was trust. So he signed it, said Antankhasa. So he wrote 14. The caretaker wrote, yeah, thabas and boys like baki pane. And 14 instead of 1,000, he wrote 14 lakhs and fled with the money. In Navgam, I had another patient. He came to me in Chanapura OPD. He had gone with his daughter to Jammu during Darbar move. So when he had gone there, he had 2 sons here. Somehow, because he stayed there for 3-4 months, that chilling winters, he had lost his wife earlier. So what his sons did here, they somehow, that we later on came to know that they had spent 7 lakh rupees in corruption and made a fake death certificate of their father and got the fake signatures from someone that corroborated with the signatures of their sister, that we give the power of attorney to she gives the power of attorney to them, because since the father has died, she gives the power of attorney to her brothers to do whatever they want to do with the property and the bank balance. And when the father comes, he realizes that his whole house has been sold, all the property has been sold, and he came to me to seek some legal protection. Then we helped him, and somehow, again there comes a family issue and issue, and other things. So these are kind of financial exploitation that we should all keep in mind and understand. So neglect is the another exploitation and this elder abuse that I found in my patient. It's the refusal or failure of individual to fulfill any part of his or her duties or obligations to an older person, including failing to provide an older person with necessities such as food, shelter, personal safety, clothing, medicine, and needed care. Neglect may be also the failure of a person who has financial responsibilities to provide care, such as paying for needed home for care services. Failure of an in-home paid care provider to deliver needed care. So to make it very simple and understandable, this is it. We also go for camps to various areas under our Gori Old Age Mission, and then we adopt many senior citizens, many marginalized senior citizens who are the victims of elder abuse. So we give them free assistance, health assistance, and even medicines. So she has 3 sons. When we went to the area for the camp, so she came to us. Since she has 3 sons and 2 homes, something like that. So I called one of her sons. So he categorically told me, "Hata jilna who boy ka meja khudmut. Hata no, hata sam ashicha mo khudmut. Tumi saju I yushu jana bichor zaya thrope, yushu jana 500 thrope dos. You lusu kar da acha ma ashi khudmut." So she has 3 sons and nobody is taking proper care of her medicines. And this is one case that we adopted. Despite having 3 sons, we have adopted her. We send her the medicine kit every month, and our team goes there and sees the well-being. This is the situation, not too far from this place, maybe not more than 2 kilometers from this place. So this is active neglect. The caregiver fails to meet their obligation to care for the patient's physical, social, and emotional needs. Can also be abandonment by leaving patient without the means or ability to obtain necessary food, clothing, shelter, health care. So this is neglect. The first one was psychological abuse. They used to take care of him, but not properly. Psychologically, 3 दिन तक beans खिलाओ, कुत्ते की तरह उसको कमरे में बिठाओ और डांटो. The stories are so much, but we don't have that time to discuss them right now. So the other one is passive neglect. This is very much rampant, and it is. I think it's in all the households. The failure is unintentional. We feel that we are not doing something wrong, but it is unintentional. Often the result of caregiver overload. Definitely, I am here. I have to rush very much early in the morning to this place. My father had to. I forgot to give him the insulin. Then I called my mom. Please give the insulin. So this was unintentional neglect. But somewhere my father will definitely think that, you see, he has somewhere in his brain he will think that, you see, he could have at least done my dose and then left, or woke me earlier that he had to go. So this is something unintentional. My mom will never mind it, she will do it, but it is unintentional neglect. We need to take care of these things also. This is very important. This is rampant, and 100% of among us face it. Either we are the abusers or our parents are the victims of this kind of passive neglect. 100%. This is 100%. Even just a call. Even right now, if Professor Cole calls me, I'll just pick up and yes sir, what happened, yes sir. Now if I see a call from my father, okay, no issues. I'll call him later after I finish the seminar. So this is a passive neglect. Maybe he's having some important thing to discuss with me. So this is a passive neglect. So caregiver burnout is another burning issue that I see in Kashmir. That is taking care of the Alzheimer's patients. They are really hard to treat and they're really hard to take care at home because they don't know what they are saying, they don't know what they are doing, they don't know what to say, their language, they abuse. So this is also again, this somehow predisposes to the passive neglect. So another thing is self-neglect. Self-neglect among senior citizens. This is again very important aspect. Failure of senior citizens to meet their own physical and psychological and social needs. But this is predisposed by active neglect. So, say that lady who had 3 sons, दवाई नहीं मिलती थी, कुछ नहीं मिलता था, हर कोई कहता था ये मैं तो हूँ इसका तुम्हें क्या इसको. So then she will definitely tend not to take care of her own self because when she is facing active neglect, she tends to go for a passive neglect. So other forms of abuse are physical abuse, and that physical abuse I did see in Kashmir. It was usually spouse to spouse. So this is one of the couples that used to come to me, and here the gentleman used to tell me he had bruises somewhere. He had bruises somewhere, and the gentleman told me that these bruises have been inflicted by my wife. So physical abuse is there, but it is usually between the spouses. Spouses sometimes beat each other. Though I have also come across the cases where sons and even daughter-in-laws have been physically beating their in-laws. So the other one is sexual abuse. I have not come across any case here. Another one is abandonment. We had a camp in Mujpatri. This couple has 2 sons, one in Gul, one shifted to city, no contact since 2016. Neglect was something else. They were there, but they were not taking care. But here this is complete abandonment. Complete abandonment. One is in Gulf and one is shifted to city, and the couple is in Mujpatri. They had sold their land and made one a doctor, and they had sold their land. The other one had said that since you have sold the land, for first one give something to us also. Then for the other one they sold the land. They made him some engineer, and that person is in Gulf. And for last since 2016, no contact, no touch, nobody has come to see them. The extent of problem, elder abuse in Indian cities. So it may be, it may somehow corroborate with the data that we have presented here from Kashmir. So in 20 cities it was done by Helpage India. 31 faced elder abuse. In India, they said 31. Over 50% during 4 years in multiple forms. 24% said almost daily. 24% of the people said that they face elder abuse almost daily. So 8% of the population was recorded. So what is the importance that in 2011 census we had the population of 8%, 60 and above. Today it is around 12%, and in 2026 it will be around 13 to 14%. So the most common form of elder abuse that Helpage India has said was disrespect, verbal abuse, neglect, and unfortunately the main abusers that they found that it was son and daughter-in-law. Around 11% were aware of the maintenance, and that will be discussed in the panel discussion about this law. The perpetrator can be a stranger. Sometimes what cases we have seen, people seek help from strangers from the roadside, and they take their money or whatever. So a carer, a criminal professional, this is something for but we had some months ago a carer killed an old lady at somewhere in Sora, if I am not wrong, and took the money. Then he was nabbed somewhere near Jammu. So we have to take care of these also, the carers who take care of our things. So while dealing with the senior citizens, we should be quite vigilant. So the perpetrators, abusers, will just directly jump into the abusers of our society. And unfortunately, I put my head down and say that what they said, that 62% of the abusers were married sons. this is really an alarm for us as a society. Married sons, in one form or the other, I am not saying physical, throughout the years, neglecting, not taking proper care, not listening to them, giving them raw deal, followed by daughter-in-law. Though Kashmir has lesser than what Helpage India has said, they say 38%, but ours it's 24. But after grilling them, I have done a lot of study. Maybe inshallah, if we meet some other time, we will go into that aspect also. But they said that ये जो करा मगर इनो चुनी पान करा के इन सोचे पूंछ करा जाना. So this is something. So they attribute के इसे पूंछ करा जाना. So then minor unmarried sons, it was only 3%, spouse 6%, and a married daughter 2%, and others were some 2 to 3% caretakers. So and again you see in COVID caregivers. In COVID, this I just want to reflect on this. The people who got admitted, who were their caregivers in the hospital, it was married daughters. So this means that in our society, when the person goes into that elderly age in the golden years, it's married daughter who takes care of them. That is very much prevalent from this presentation and very much prevalent from the study. And unmarried sons are so much faithful, not all, the percentage, so much faithful till they get married. And after marriage, I don't know, the shift, you see the shift. The shift. Married sons are always, abusers, and here when they need a caregiving in the hospital, married daughters are with them. So I think prevention of elder abuse. There are many strategies to prevent. We don't have time for that right now because they are more pertaining to the West. But for us, that is very important for our society. That for us, instilling moral values in youth is pressing need of the day. So moral values given to the youth, it's very important. So the rest of these are report suspicions, support caregivers. These are more relevant for the Western world. So the bottom line is, nothing on the face of earth can justify being unfair to your parents. The smallest form of elder abuse includes uttering a mere oof in response to your parents. It's not I'm quoting Quran, it's what our book says. This is the smallest form of elder abuse, being unfair to your parents. Thank you so much. We'll interact in the panel discussion.
It is always a privilege to speak in presence of our teachers, our mentors, so that we can actually share what we have learned from them and still seek advice from them as to what our attitude and behavior should be. I thank personally all the seniors who have been able to come here, but unfortunately I could not invite one of my mentors, Professor Sikandar Farooq Saab, because he was not in good condition. I actually called him yesterday evening. He told me that I am not able to come because of health. And despite that, all the members who are here and Honorable Vice Chancellor, who has actually very keenly been trying to arrange such functions, such gatherings where we can discuss the issues. Thank you, ma'am, for sponsoring us and helping us to organize these gatherings so that we can discuss issues which are not a personal concern, which are not a regional concern, which is a global concern. When we look at the theme, that is the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, this is not a local issue, this is not a domestic issue, this is an international issue where almost everybody should try to think as to what is happening and why this day has been launched. As majority may know, this day was started to be observed from 15th of June 2006. And it is being regularly celebrated or assessed every day as to what is happening. For the information of the youngsters here, when we were students, students of schools, colleges and universities, it was always a privilege to watch seniors in the schools, in the colleges, as well as watch our senior teachers and to see what they would speak and what we will learn. And even at this stage, when I watch my teachers walking anywhere, I jump from my vehicle to just interact with them. And that is basically a lesson we have learned, and that is what is to be shared with our progeny as to what they should do and what they should follow. Attaining superannuation should not be considered as the final day of discussion or deliberation with our faculty or with our teachers. We, in majority of the departments in the University of Kashmir, I will say this with privilege, have created groups of our seniors. And we always, every year, almost celebrate these functions where we invite our ex-faculty members, even ex-students, to interact with each other. And that has been a way to see what the story of our seniors is. When we created a group of alumni in botany, we organized a get-together, and some of the alumni from different parts of the world, America, Canada, France, and Germany, they interacted online, and some came and visited Kashmir after a gap of almost 40 years. And ma'am was there, she also visited the Department of Botany. It was a wonderful gathering where our seniors were able to interact with the youngsters, that is even the students and scholars. And what they highlighted was what they have seen in the University of Kashmir, what the overall infrastructure or sort of facilities available and interaction facilities at that time were and what these are at present. They were always saying that this is something what we wanted to see and we are happy to see this happening. And some of them tried to actually give us a sort of a vision that not necessarily after a decade, after a few years, why can't we have a get-together after every year? Invite the alumni and see what sort of vision they had and what sort of vision they want to share with us. And what can be our vision that we can share with them. Similarly, when we look at our homes, when we look at our adults like grandparents, parents, etc., in the Valley of Kashmir, luckily enough, that's my personal experience, we still take care of our adults. We still actually are concerned about adults. But what the scenario in the overall world is, that is not as good as it is in Kashmir. I am unfortunate that I have lost my parents. I lost my mother almost 25 years ago, my father almost 8 years ago. Now, because of that, I don't have that sort of interaction with my parents at home or in my other relatives. For example, I have lost my uncles also very early. But what I see in my friend circle, what I see in my faculty circle, and when I visit their homes, I have always asked that, why don't you interact with my parents? Why don't I interact with my father, with my mother? And that gives me tremendous pleasure to interact with those elderly people, because they give us those visions which I have been starving for personally, because I have lost my mother way back. And I with pride say that I was always known as Mama's boy. Majugobar is the term that we use. And what I see at the residence of my friends, of my colleagues, and when I interact with their parents, when I interact with their adults, it is always a pleasure what sort of vision they had when they were taking care of the kids or of the adults. And that is a lesson that we should actually be able to share with the youngsters who are staying in the audience. Because adult care, taking care not only necessarily of our parents, of our adult brothers and sisters, but also of the community of which we are a part, can give us many different visions and can give us many different themes which we can implement. Such get-togethers in the university or in the departments or even at homes can actually be a lesson to the youngsters that they should not try to literally abandon what was actually highlighted by Dr. Saab. It's very strange what he pinpointed in his presentation, that this number and this number is facing these problems. And I sometimes wonder, is it really the scenario of the Valley of Kashmir? Where cultural inheritance that we have is much better than what I have seen outside Kashmir. But what he highlighted is really a painful message to all of us, that in the Valley of Kashmir, we are abandoning our parents. We are literally throwing our parents out of our homes. Why? My status, I am here today in the capacity of doing research. It is not only my own work. It is the guidance, the support, the affection, the care that my parents showered on me at I reached this stage. And if I forget my parents and try to, unfortunately I have seen people literally, what Dr. was saying, throwing them out of the homes or trying to literally cheat them in terms of document signings. Now, if that is the scenario in the world as a whole, imagine what could be our scenario after a few years. technically we also will be thrown out of our homes, because this will continue, and we in turn have to see what can be done, what can be actually a message that can be taken from today's discussions, which can be spread and highlighted in the outcome of such sort of gatherings. I'll just read a few messages, because I'm lucky enough that we have in our colony a community which is trying to take care of adults as well as those who have no financial support. And yesterday we had, after Namaz of Isha, a gathering, and we actually had a message from that. I will read it as it is. Caring for seniors is perhaps the greatest responsibility we have. That was actually quoted by one of our senior citizens in the Mohalla. Those who have walked before us have given so much and made possible the life we enjoy. That is what I am enjoying today. It's not because of my own put in, it is because of my seniors, my adults, my parents. Because of their guidance, their support, I am reaching this stage. And as you know, this year's message, this year's theme for the 2023 for the adults is Closing the Circle, Addressing Gender-Based Violence, GBV, in Old Age, Policy, Law and Evidence-Based Responses. This is the message for this year's celebration, and for which I would like to quote a message by Dalai Lama. Luckily, I was able to interact with him about 3 years back in Delhi, and he, in an address, quoted this way. I have actually copied it as it is. If you shift your focus from yourself to others, especially elders, he highlighted that, extend your concern to elders and cultivate the thought of caring for the well-being of elders, then this will have an immediate effect of opening up your life to their life and helping you to reach out to elders. This was the message by Dalai Lama, and he was basically trying to educate all the members of the audience that what the message should be spread by those. And on the basis of the guidance I have got from these people, I would like to quote my own vision. That is, I hope and pray that you accept this. Let us all pledge to take extra care of our elders and nurture them with love and care they deserve. Just because they are aged and scientifically weak, one cannot just shower them with all kinds of abuses. Let us oppose together on this World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Thank you very much.
Let us highlight some bright side of the situation also. I'll substantiate my point by quoting few examples. I learned trimming the beard of my father from my son. My son initiated. He used to trim the beard of my father. After that, I learned it. So we belong to this society. ये ज़मीन उतनी बंजर नहीं है. ये ज़रा सी नम हो तो बहुत ज़रखेज़ है. Yes, there are certain issues which, even if they exist at a very micro or a minute level, they need to be handled very seriously. The way there are many toxic components in foods, in biological systems, if they exist at PPT level, we have to take care of that. They should not exist in parts per trillion level. Similarly, if such issues exist in our society, we have to be very serious about all those things. I don't claim any authority on the subject that's being discussed in this room today, but just some common observations. I tried to jot down few things since morning, but failed to collect anything substantial. सिवाय इसके किसी साहिब फ़ाहम, किसी साहिब ज़ौक़ के चंद अशार मैं आपके सामने अर्ज़ करना चाहूँगा. इसका उन्वान है बुढ़ापा खूबसूरत है. किसी को आपके बालों की चांदी से मोहब्बत हो, किसी वाइटनेस, किसी को आपके बालों की चांदी से मोहब्बत हो, किसी को आपकी आंखों पर अब भी प्यार आता हो, लबों पर मुस्कुराहट की गुलाबी फूल खिल जाए, लबों पर मुस्कुराहट के गुलाबी फूल खिल जाएं, जबी की झुर्रियों में रोशनी सिमटी हुई हो तो बुढ़ापा खूबसूरत होता है. शिकन आलूद हाथों पर दमकते रेशमी बोसे, अपने पेरेंट्स, शिकन आलूद हाथों पर दमकते रेशमी बोसे, सादत का, अकीदत का, तकद्दुस का हवाला हूँ। जवानी याद करना दिल उस उदासी का समंदर हो, जवानी याद करना दिल उदासी का समंदर हो, उदासी के समंदर में कोई हमराह तेरे हो, बुढ़ापा खूबसूरत होता है। जरा सा लड़खड़ाएं, मेरे नौनिहालों जो जवान यहाँ साल बच्चे यहाँ बैठे हैं, जरा सा लड़खड़ाएं, हम जरा सा लड़खड़ाएं तो सहारे दौड़ कर आएं, जरा सा लड़खड़ाएं सहारे दौड़ कर आएं, नए अखबार ला कर दें पुराने गीत सुनवाएं। बसारत की रसाई में पसंदीदा किताबें हूँ, बसारत की रसाई में पसंदीदा किताबें हूँ, महकते सब्ज मौसम हूँ, परिंदे हूँ, शजर हूँ, तो बुढ़ापा खूबसूरत होता है। बुजुर्गों को आदत है, जैसे आई एम फॉर्चुनेट एनफ आई हैव बोथ माई पेरेंट्स, अल्लाह ताला आप सबके सलामत रखे, आपके पेरेंट्स को सलामत रखे और मेरे वालिदैन को भी सलामत रखे। उनको एक आदत होती है, अपनी पुरानी कहानी अक्सर सुनाते हैं, दिन में कई बार सुनाएंगे, वही कहानी सुनाएंगे, बार बार सुनाएंगे। पुरानी दास्तानें शौक से सुनता रहे कोई, पुरानी दास्तानें शौक से सुनता रहे कोई, मोहब्बत से दिलो जान की थकन चुनता रहे कोई। जरा सी धूप में हद्दत बढ़ जाए तो छाँव मिल जाए, जरा सी धूप में हद्दत बढ़े तो छाँव मिल जाए, हद से गुजरना, धूप हद से हद्दत बढ़ जाए तो छाँव मिल जाए, बरसते बादलों में छितरियाँ तन जाएं सर पर, तो बुढ़ापा खूबसूरत होता है। जिन्हें देखें तो आंखों में सितारे जगमगा उठें, जिन्हें देखें तो आंखों में सितारे जगमगा उठें, जिन्हें चूमें तो होठों पर दुआएं जगमगा उठें। जवां रिश्तों की दौलत से अगर दामन भरा हो तो, जवां रिश्तों की दौलत से अगर दामन भरा हो तो, रफ़ीक़े दिल शरीके जां बराबर में खड़ा हो तो, बुढ़ापा खूबसूरत होता है। With these words, I thank all of you for giving me an opportunity to be here with you.
In Surah Yasin, Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَن نُعَمِّرُ نُنَكِّسُهُ, to whom we grant long life, we reverse him in creation. I, as a student of sociology, must say now that we admit also, and I request my students and scholars in the Department of Social Work and Sociology, probably we may have to now rewrite and redefine sociology now. Because when we talk of particularly the terminology like kinship, where we talk about primary, secondary, tertiary kinship, but in the present day terminology, such terminology looks obsolete, because when we say the primary kin, it was uncle who comes in the primary kin, and now there is a tradition of keeping single child. The concept of uncle now in the present times has become almost obsolete. So the other forms of kinship, where it is primary, it is secondary, it is tertiary, those have now almost need to be redefined. I am talking about the kinship because though it is not relevant to talk about the kinship, but when we talk of the elderly people, the issues of the elderly people, then the kinship matters. Because if a father was having 2 or 3 or 4 children, probably if somebody will go to foreign, somebody may stay back and may probably take care of the elderly people. So in that context, I am talking about the kinship terminology in sociology. And when we talk, Dr. Sab has already talked about the health issues, and in my naive knowledge, I feel that most probably it is the hearing issues, the dementia, the depression, others pain, arthritis, most probably they be taken care, but certain issues which definitely disturb the elderly people. And one more thing in present time is when we compare the Western and the Asian countries, we see that though at present particularly in the South Asia or the Asian countries, we see that there is not much culture of old age homes or old age caregivers. But when we see the West, there are such agencies and organizations which take care of the elderly people. And probably, maybe it may be we may need again a study in it, that though we don't take care of the elderly people at our homes, but still we don't want to drop or take them to the old age homes wherever they are existing, because of the social issues, because of the social pressures, most probably because of that they are not being, they are mistreated or maltreated at the homes, but not taken to the elderly homes which may be existing or which may not be existing at certain places. So my request to the students and scholars in the sociology and the social work department will be that we need to explore and we need to expose our society at present, because there are a lot of things which need to be explored and which need to be researched. At the University of Kashmir, I must congratulate the Department of Social Work, as we know that it is doing a wonderful job. They are doing a lot of studies which are the developmental projects taken by the government. Any developmental projects, whether in the social work, whether in the social welfare or in the rural development or in the education department, they have taken very recently the mid-term evaluation of the midday meals. They are taking, probably they are also studying the impact factor of this Panchayati Raj. They are studying the most probably in the PMRGSY, and many other schemes they are evaluating at the Department of Social Work, where they are discussing, debating, and then recommending certain measures to the state, to the government. And they are doing a wonderful job. But to be honest with you, that because there are a lot of social evils which have creeped in our society, probably the most dangerous is the drug abuse, which we see at present, and simultaneously there is this elderly issues, because at present we have this is an evolving department, this is an evolving medicine. Probably Dr. Zubair is here, but when we see the geriatric medicine is at still, it has to come a lot way. I have been to Delhi, and in AIMS they have established the very good department of geriatric medicine. I doubt whether in Kashmir we have at present in SMHS or anywhere we have a geriatric medicine ward or geriatric medicine department. I am not sure. But as medicine, doctors will take care of their own profession, and as academicians, as researchers, as an academic institution, University of Kashmir and particularly the departments which are associated with such social issues need to think about it, need to go for the research. And I would request Honorable Vice Chancellor also, if we could help or we could start, if government is not sponsoring such projects, I would request Honorable Vice Chancellor also that we can take up certain minor, or if not major but minor research projects we can take at the departmental level, whether from the Department of Sociology or Social Work, and we can explore and expose certain facts rather which are existing in our society. Particularly when we see that Shazia was already talking about the life expectancy, which has now gone very higher in the society because of the medical facilities. But in you must have recently, when Dr. Saab was talking about the COVID, we have seen that most of the people who were hit by the COVID were the elderly people. I was going through some long back when we saw that Italy was the most hit during the COVID in the initial period, and I have gone through the statistics, and it says that almost 90% people were those who died because of the COVID in Italy were from the age group from 65 to the 95. So elderly people suffer, and they suffer at every front, whether it is the medical front, it is the social front. So we need to take care of, we need to study. On behalf of University of Kashmir, under the leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, we try to develop, we try to evolve, we try to consolidate also, and we try to accommodate and adjust all the departments under our whatever the budgetary provisions and the scarce resources we have. Under her directions and under her leadership, we try to develop the infrastructure, we try to develop the research facilities. We have very recently created a world-class central research facility at University of Kashmir, and we have procured single mass pack. We have procured for 8 crores. We have procured good number of machineries which will help in the research facilities at the University of Kashmir, which can be used by our sister universities or sister institutions also. And I am hopeful that because under her leadership we have already obtained the grade of 33rd rank at the national level, and inshallah we are going to have NAC next year, and inshallah we will be becoming an institution of excellence or eminence in future. With these words, I thank all my seniors and all my colleagues here in the auditorium. Thank you all.
So it's my pleasure to welcome all of you on this inaugural ceremony of one-day seminar on World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Many of you will be thinking that does abuse really happen? And I think that if you go to statistics, we will have a wake-up call that abuse happens but goes unreported, because we have been told that abuse only happens in Western societies and it's a Western phenomena, and South Asian context abuse doesn't happen. But I think that we need to define the concept of abuse, redefine it, and understand that there are multiple facets of abuse. This seminar is organized by the Department of Social Work in collaboration with Gauri Kohl Foundation. Gauri Kohl Foundation is a non-for-profit organization, and this foundation is headed, the founder director of this foundation is Dr. Upinder Kohl. Dr. Upinder Kohl is currently the founder director of GK Foundation, and this foundation focuses on working towards a society where all elders are treated with respect and dignity. And I think that respect and dignity is the most important thing. If people are respected, if they are given worth and dignity, and I think that there will be no concept of abuse. This foundation works for the welfare of the elderly under its flagship mission, Gauri Old Age Mission. And as you are aware that today we have assembled to understand different kinds of abuses, and I welcome all of you. We are highly honored by the presence of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Kashmir, Professor Nilofer Khan ma'am, for being with us here. And in spite of last 3 days of a very rigorous budget meetings, thank you very much ma'am. We welcome you on behalf of the Department of Social Work. Ma'am, we humbly appreciate you for finding time to be with us in spite of your busy schedule. For the information of the guests here, our VC ma'am's involvement in the activities, whether they are directly related to our curriculum or extra co-curricular activities, I don't need to tell it here. The rankings, the recent rankings in which the University of Kashmir has jumped to a very good level, this speaks about the leadership. Thank you very much, ma'am. I extend a warm welcome to our Dean Academic Affairs, Professor Rafi Masoodi sir. I remember once going to sir and saying, sir, please come to our program. And sir said that for me, more than coming to programs, it's very important that I sit in the office and deliver there because we have to serve to the people. Thank you very much, sir. We hope to shed some light on the various forms of abuse, identify the root cause, come out of the denial, explore sustainable solutions in the context of J&K. Moreover, we aim to foster a network of collaboration between organizations, communities, and individuals. As we embark on this meaningful journey today, let's remember that our collective efforts can make a tangible difference in the lives of our seniors. By raising awareness, promoting empathy, and taking proactive steps, we can ensure that our elderly population enjoys a life of dignity, love, and security. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to all the participants, speakers, guests present here today. Your presence is a testament to your commitment towards the cause.
I will take this as an opportunity to add just a couple of things, though I am not a speaker of today's event. And after listening to such wonderful speakers and the keynote speakers, there is very little for anybody to add. But a couple of things. I had thought that when I initiate my vote of thanks, I'll start with a शेर और एक कपलेट, लेकिन मसूदी साहब ने वो काम भी कर लिया तो मेरे लिए कुछ खास बचा है नहीं। लेकिन फिर मुझे ये लगा कि मसूदी साहब का जो कलाम था वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा ऑप्टिमिस्टिक था। अगर उतना ऑप्टिमिज्म हम अपने जहन में रखें तो फिर ये यूनाइटेड नेशंस को ये कमेमोरेट करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं थी। तो इसका मतलब ये कि ये मसला है और कुछ थोड़ा सा इसकी हकीकत को पे पॉन्डर करना, इस मसले की हकीकत पे बैठ के गुफ्तगू करना, एकेडमिक डिस्कोर्स, रिसर्च इनिशिएट करना, या ये जो इतनी गैलेक्सी हमारे सीनियर्स की और जो हमारे बच्चों की जिनको हमने बुलाया है, तो इसकी ज़रूरत है। और ये सिर्फ इस इवेंट तक नहीं, इस इवेंट के बाद भी इसको जारी रखने का कोई मंसूबा होना चाहिए। बिकॉज आई एज ए स्टूडेंट ऑफ administration, I do not really, I'm not a fan of only an event. I think there has to be a system and a process if you want dividends and fructification of your objectives. तो सर मैं वो जो शेर जो सोचा था मैं फिर भी पढ़ लूँ, आपकी इजाज़त हो। शेर ये था कि पकड़ कर हाथ उसने हाथ में घर से निकाला है, पकड़ कर हाथ उसने हाथ में घर से निकाला है, पकड़ कर हाथ जिसका हाथ में चलना सिखाया था। एक और शेर, क्योंकि कलाम मसूदी साहब का लंबा था तो मैं ज़रा एक और शेर सर इजाज़त अगर आपकी हो। जो मुझसे रोज़ परियों की कहानी सुन के सोते थे, जो मुझसे रोज़ परियों की कहानी सुन के सोते थे, अब उन बच्चों को मेरा बोलना अच्छा नहीं लगता। Honorable Vice Chancellor and all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, the students of Department of Social Work, I am greatly indebted to all of you for sparing your time and gracing this occasion and making this event a very meaningful occasion.
Let me first of all start by giving glory to Almighty Allah for giving us a chance to assemble here today to commemorate the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Kashmir, Professor Nilofer Khan Sahiba, Dean Academic Affairs, Professor F.A. Masoodi Sahab, Registrar, University of Kashmir, Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir Sahab, Dean Research, University of Kashmir, Professor Irshad Ahmed Nauchu Sahab, Director Gauri Kaul Foundation, Dr. Zubair Salim Saab, and our esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. The true measure of a society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members, including its elderly population. Pope Francis. Ladies and gentlemen, our elders are the living embodiment of resilience and strength. Let's treat them with the care, respect, and gratitude they deserve. This event provides all of us an opportunity to come together, raise awareness, and take action against elder abuse. By celebrating this day, we can promote respect and dignity for our older adults, fostering a society that values and protects its elderly population. Let us unite in our efforts to create a world where elderly live with dignity, free from abuse and neglect. Without taking much of your time, I would request Head Department of Social Work, University of Kashmir, Dr. Shazia Manzoor, to formally welcome the guests and introduce the theme of today's event. Madam.